Once upon a time, deep inside a dense forest, there lived a pregnant deer. She was about to give birth to her young ones, and her heart was filled with both joy and worrying. Joy because soon she would become a mother, and worrying because the forest was full of dangers and she had to protect not just herself, but also the little lives growing inside her. One evening, as the sun began to set, the deer felt a sharp pain in her belly. She knew the time had come. She needed to find a safe place to rest and deliver her babies. All of a sudden that evening, wind started blowing fast and dark clouds had covered the whole sky. It seemed that heavy rain and a storm were about to break out. Every now and then lightning began flashing in the sky. All the animals ran in search of a secure place to protect themselves from the rain and the storm, but this poor deer was struggling to run with pain and waiting for the birth of her children. After walking for some time, she found a peaceful spot near the bank of a river. The soft grass beneath her feet and the sound of flowing water gave her comfort. She thought to herself, "This is the perfect place. Here my children will be born safely." But fate had other plans. Just as she was about to rest, she heard a terrible sound behind her. A large lightning bolt flashed in the sky and struck a tree somewhere in the forest. With a loud sound and bright light, the tree started to burn, and soon a forest fire broke out. The flames were spreading fast and devouring everything in their path. The crackling of burning trees and the smoke rising into the sky filled her with fear. She ran toward the river, thinking if she crossed it, she could protect herself from the fire. But then she saw something that filled her with even more fear. In the river, a group of hungry crocodiles were waiting with their cold, watchful eyes fixed upon her. She stopped because she could not go forward and cross the water. Trembling, she turned to her left, hoping to find a way out. But there stood a hunter with his bow raised and his arrow aimed directly at her. In desperation, she turned to her right. But there, crouching low in the grass, was a lion ready to pounce. Behind her was fire. In front of her were crocodiles. To her left was a hunter. To her right was a lion. There was no escape. Death surrounded her from all sides. Her body began to tremble, not only from fear but also from the pain of labor. The time to give birth had arrived, and she could do nothing but stand there helpless and alone. For a moment her mind raced with panic. She thought, "What have I done to deserve this? Why must I face so many dangers at once? Is there no hope left for me or my children?" But then a strange calmness settled over her heart. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She thought to herself, "I cannot control the fire. I cannot fight the crocodiles. I cannot outrun the hunter's arrow. I cannot overpower the lion. These things are beyond my power, but there is one thing I can do. I can remain calm. I can accept whatever is meant to happen." With this thought, she stopped struggling. Instead, she simply bent her head and began to drink water from the river as if nothing else mattered at that moment. Just then the sky rumbled with thunder and a bolt of lightning struck the ground nearby. The sudden flash and sound startled the hunter, and his hand slipped. The arrow flew from his bow, but it did not strike the deer. Instead, it pierced the lion. The wounded lion roared in rage and leapt toward the hunter. Terrified for his life, the hunter dropped his bow and ran into the forest. The lion chased after him, and both disappeared into the deep forest. At that very moment, heavy rain began to pour from the sky. The forest fire that had seemed unstoppable was slowly extinguished. The flames died out and the forest was covered with cool, refreshing rain. The crocodiles, disturbed by the storm, slipped beneath the water and swam away. And there, in the quiet that followed, the deer gave birth not to one but to three beautiful FAWNS. They opened their eyes to a world that moments ago had seemed full of danger and death, but was now peaceful and safe. The deer looked at her children and felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She had done nothing to fight her enemies. She had not run, attacked, or begged for mercy. She had simply stayed calm and accepted whatever was meant to happen. And in doing so, life itself had opened a path for her. If we look at our own lives, we will find that there are times when difficulties surround us from all sides. Problems come one after another, and we may feel trapped. Helpless and afraid. In such moments, we often panic and make things worse. When everything seems against us, we must not lose courage and hope. Life often tests us by putting us in situations where we see no solution, but losing hope only makes the situation darker. When we choose to stay calm, think positively, and face our challenges with courage and new strength awakens within us. Positive thinking does not make our problems disappear, but it gives us the clarity to face them. Hope is like a small light. When it enters the mind, even the worst darkness begins to fade. This story teaches us a simple truth. When we cannot control what happens around us, we can still control how we respond. Staying calm does not mean giving up. It means trusting that sometimes when we stop struggling, life finds a way to help us. As in the story, the deer did not defeat the fire. She did not fight the lion. She did not kill the hunter. She did not swim past the crocodiles. She simply stayed calm, stayed hopeful, and trusted in life. And that calmness gave her the strength to wait. Life, in its own mysterious way, turned her enemies against each other and opened a path where there was none. Remember, when you are surrounded by problems, do not let fear cloud your mind. Remember the deer close your eyes, take a deep breath, and stay calm. Stay hopeful, because you never know what miracle is waiting just around the corner. Sometimes the very dangers that threaten to destroy us end up disappearing over time. And the storm that seems like the end is actually the beginning of something new. Just like day and night, life also moves in cycles. After every dark night, the sun rises again. Nothing in this world is permanent, neither happiness nor pain. When we develop faith, patience, and positive thinking, we gain the strength to endure even the darkest nights, knowing that dawn is never far away.